This is why you died.
Hello all and welcome back to This Is Why You Died, where the prizes are fake, the questions don't matter, and the best part of the show is the frequent decapitations. I, as always, am your headless horseman of horror, Sir Ian Dangerous, aka your Uncle Frank, and joining me on my crusade of carnage is the Ghost Rider himself, Dan, Marcha Madness, and the Hessian warrior with the serrated teeth, Ryan Ross Live. I don't know why. I was in a Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow mood tonight. We are, of course,
cool.
Yeah, it's a good. Have you guys? When's the last time you guys watched Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow?
I usually want to try to put it on during Halloween, and I didn't put it on during this spooky season. But yes, it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Ryan hasn't seen it. Ryan, have you seen that one?
Which one?
Sleepy Hollow? Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow?
Oh, maybe a long time ago.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Ryan,
I was trying to look up Sarian because I'm not familiar with that word.
Hessian, serrated teeth.
Oh, serrated teeth. I heard
Serrated.
I heard Hessian was Sarian.
Well, you're still thinking about, Rex from Mass Effect, the Saurian teeth. No, the serrated. No. He's got sharp teeth in the movie.
I'm
Good
familiar
Lord.
with serration.
Serration. We are, of course, the horror show that picks prompts at random from our 666 possible words and phrases in our buckets of the beast. And we then are inspired by those prompts to watch a movie of a horror-ish persuasion. And then we come back here, discuss it, and dissect it like those babies we all used to stick knives into in biology class in high school. You remember those?
Babies?
Horror-ish.
Yeah, babies. You didn't dissect babies in high school biology class?
Frogs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we went to different schools. Understandable. but we have come back this week. It is Dan Marcha Madness's
My turn.
week. This week, he picked the prompt for us this particular week. Dan, take it away. What prompt did you pick, and what are we doing this week?
I picked the prompt time, and to be honest, I actually had this movie in mind if I got something close to time or clock or something like that. And so as soon as I picked time, this was the one that jumped out in my head, and I took a couple days to think about it, but we are watching Triangle,
from 2009.
2009, so it's quite old. I'd only seen it one time. What?
It's quite old. What are you talking about?
No, I mean
16 years ago isn't old.
It's ancient, Ian. What are you talking about?
I mean, when you think about it, I mean, like 16 years, it doesn't feel like that long. But I was surprised when, like, I looked it up. Yeah, see, there you go. When I'd only seen it one time. I remember seeing it, and like I think I remember enjoying it the first time, but I didn't really remember too much of the plot, so I wanted to revisit it. And the reason why I really chose it is that I tend to see it on like most underrated or underseen horror movies. Like people are like, you got to watch this movie. Like it's not very well watched. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. I don't know, had Ian or Ryan, Ryan, I don't think you'd seen it, but Ian, have you seen this one? Never even heard of it. Yeah. And Ian, had you heard of it or seen it at all?
So if this is your first time listening to our show, just a quick heads up. Dan and I are horror heads from way back, and Ryan is our initiate. Ryan has watched almost no horror movies in his entire life, and so we're kind of leading him into the wonderful world of horror. And something very unusual here, I had not even heard of Triangle.
Wow.
Flew below my radar. Never seen it, never heard of it. I know the director, Christopher Smith. I'd seen Black Death. I'd seen actually Creep with not Famke Janssen. Wasn't it from Run Lola Run? I forget her name, but I'd seen some of his other movies. I'd never seen this one of his. So this was a new one on me as well. So Dan went deep. He went to the deep cuts on this one, which is very exciting.
I love the fact that you were like, we've done this long enough that now you're like, what are some movies that I could include and what prompts would be appropriate for them?
Right.
That's something like
Pre-gaming.
You got like pocketed things. I love that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Of course. You gotta have them in the back pocket just in case.
Just in case. You don't want to be on the spot.
And it's great because now we're going all over the map on this show. We've done we did a Wicker Man, a classic last week. We did the brand new Frankenstein the week before. We're going all over the place, and now we're doing a hidden gem this week for all of y'all. But of course, before we get into the actual show itself, a little bit of business. If you want to find all of our links, Dan, tell them where they can find our links, please.
You go to beacons.ai/TIWYD pod, and there you can get. Look, I'm wearing it. I'm wearing the hoodie that
You're
we have.
merched out.
I'm wearing the beanie. I love it. This beanie does not come off my head. We also got a great band t-shirt. We got like a button-down shirt. We got some really cool stuff. So please go over to that, and you can find where you can stream us. You can watch us on YouTube now,
you can
support us on Patreon. So please check us out over there. You can find everything that we do.
That actually reminds me, Ryan, I believe we have our first ever dedicated benefactor over on Patreon. Is that correct?
We do. So we actually have various tiers, of course, that you can support on Patreon with various perks. And our dedicated benefactor is our top available designation, our top available support level, if you will. And one of the benefits of that tier is that you get a shout out in every episode of the podcast. And so our very first dedicated benefactor is CG, who just recently became a patron supporter. So thank you so much, CG.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Amazing.
We're incredibly grateful. And so now, as anyone who is subscribed at that tier, you will be shouted out every episode as long as you're an active patron. And so very, very happy to have you. And thanks for being our first one. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I love that people are supporting us like this.
That's ground floor.
Much. Yeah.
You're on the ground floor. We're going places, kid. I'm telling you. So no, thank you to all of our patrons, all of our early adopters. You guys are amazing. And if you want to be a patron, patreon.com. If you don't know how to get there, you can go to, as Dan said, beacons.ai/TIWYD pod and find all of our links and check out how to do that. So with that business out of the way and gratitude in our hearts, let's hop into the show and give our spoiler alert. Bam, 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 bam. We are doing spoilers going forward for 2009's Triangle, which Dan has picked off of Time. Why'd you pick it off of Time, Dan? Oh, I think it's because it's about a time loop.
Time
loop.
Sure love time loops.
A very strange time loop. It was most time loops.
Oh, what time loops have you seen before, Ryan? What did you have this to compare this to as far as time
I've seen a lot of time travel time loops of like you're going back to affect a certain outcome of a circumstance where you can potentially observe yourself and like try and alter the events of things. But usually it is either someone going back to fix one thing and they're encountering like the way things happened before, and then they come back and the results of those things have changed and something that they don't want to do. So then they at most go back a second time to undo it, if there is a second visit at all, or sometimes it's just the first visit around of like, okay, we're going to go fix this thing and we have to avoid ourselves. There's always like the laws of time travel if you can't interact with yourself, like the paradox stuff. This was the first one that I had fully seen that was like almost Groundhog level. It's the same thing every time, but it is not the person experiencing the same thing every time and the world around them is different. Because I've seen that too, where it's like they're trapped in a time loop of their own experience of like they wake up every day and it's always 8:10, and then like the mailman is always like trips over
Groundhog's Day style.
Precisely. Yeah. Where it's like the only person who is witnessing the loop is the person, and so they experiment with all the things they can get away with, and then they feel bad about it and they gain more appreciation for their normal life, that moral outline.
What I like to call, not the Groundhog's Day, the roguelike style of time loop movies.
Yes.
Right.
Until they've like also almost like the unfinished business.
Yeah, and I think the most popular horror version of that currently would probably be like Happy Death Day is very much in that kind of like Groundhog Day, but with a slasher. So this is, I think that's why I went this route, because it's a bit like it's a different style, just like Ryan was saying.
Yeah, it's unique.
It's kind of cool the way that they did. Yeah, very unique. So it was I think I'm glad that we rewatched it again. I got a little like I saw a little bit more of this, like more of the storyline. I think I remember more of just like how the loop was working and the twists that happened. I did remember some of the twists, like the that came along through this movie, but like there was a lot more symbolism and meaning that I hadn't really caught the first time around, that I sort of was like kind of catching on this rewatch.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty heavy-handed symbolism in this movie, and if you haven't watched it and you're still listening to the show right now, then fair enough. We'll give you a little bit of a brief on the movie, but it's about a group of people who go on a nice little sailing cruise and end up getting hit by a random out of nowhere storm. Their boat is capsized, and then they take shelter on a passing ocean liner, at which point time starts to strangely repeat, and the one kind of main lady of the story encounters herself in a mask killing all of her friends, and her other self says you have to kill them all to get off the boat. And as the movie goes on, she realizes that she's stuck in a time loop where at a certain point she's going to have to kill everyone else, and she ends up becoming the slasher. Kind of an interesting premise that then at the end reveals what is actually going on, which is actually it explains everything. It's a very specific instance that's happening, but how we get there and what it actually is kind of the meat of the movie. Or it would be, it's actually kind of mostly a slasher in the middle part of the movie. And that's kind of the general questions I have to start off with, you guys, is how did the central conceit of the time loop work for you guys? Or were you entertained enough by the slasherific stuff in the meantime? Like, that's kind of the horror aspect of it. Like, Dan, you watched it again. Ryan, I'm gonna throw it to you then. Your first time, were you entertained the whole time? Did it keep you engaged as you were watching it?
I think it went through phases for me personally, of like at the beginning I was into it, I was kind of seeing where it was going. It felt like it kind of implies that this is like a Bermuda Triangle-esque thing. It doesn't ever like actually say like this is the Bermuda Triangle, but it kind of like, it's also called Triangle. It seems to be kind of heavily implying like, oh, we're like, this is a weird spot on the ocean. And I did like the actual freightliner is called the Aeolus, which is the father of Sisyphus, which had a whole metaphoric thing of like Sisyphus is the one who constantly is rolling the rock up the hill only for it to roll back down, and the pointlessness of that. Although it was odd that they did the father rather than just calling it the Sisyphus at that point, when that's really the main message. And I'm curious to see if anybody can. We'll go ahead.
I can explain that. So Aeolus was also, like, in Greek mythology, he was actually 3 different people, and they could never put their finger on who exactly he was in the mythology. So he was actually representative of 3 different people. So there's a lot of 3s. There's a lot of stuff in this movie, but 3s there's a lot of. For example, once you kind of understand what the time loop is doing, the main character Jess there's 3 of her at any given time on the ship. Her entering the ship, her exploring the ship, her trying to kill everybody. And those 3 different phases of her keep rotating, essentially.
Well, honestly, it's her like entering, exploring. It's her in the realization process that she's the killer. And then there's her like trying to attempt to undo it and ultimately becoming the killer. Weirdness. It gets a little funky.
But then we find out as the killer is tossed overboard that she then goes back to the very beginning of everything, which is when she's smacking around her autistic son and feels bad about it. And then gets into a car accident with said autistic son on the way to the dock and dies. And then some weird taxi driver guy, the son dies, and she dies too. It's implied that she dies. And then the taxi, but
the thing that got, okay, go ahead. I mean, you could finish that, but I that's what I thought the first time too, or that's what I was thinking. But where Ryan might be coming from too is that there is the dead body version of her in the car. That then I was like, did they find the dead body, the one that was already dead, in the trunk that came out in that crash, and she still survived it?
Right. Which one of her is dead? Which one of her is dead?
There's 2 of her in that car.
Again, for the people who have watched this is going to sound wild, but she goes back and kills herself, not herself as her current self, but herself as her past self, in order to try and undo the guilt that she has about her son. But ultimately, that's what also causes her to eventually do the car accident, because she's trying to calm her son down about the panic that he saw her murder herself.
But then, of course, one of her walks away from the accident and one of her stays.
And we don't know which is which.
Well, it doesn't matter because one walks away. So one is left there. Whether it's the one from the trunk or the one from the trunk gets up and keeps going, one body, one person moves on and hangs out with the taxi driver who bears a shocking resemblance to a certain ferryman who likes to take the souls of the dead across the water. Where, by the way, mythologically, if you cross the river Styx, that's where you lose your memory. And by the time she gets to the boat, she has a memory.
There you go.
The river Styx famously causes memory loss. And so then explains why at the beginning of the movie, when we first meet Jess, seems like she's high as a kite and can't remember anything. So that's another level of where it goes to. But that's when we find out the full triangle doesn't just rotate on the boat. It actually goes beyond the boat and it goes back to the land beforehand when she gets on the boat with all of these damned people who are in there with her to be her subjects who she kills. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a very idea heavy movie. It's a very big idea movie. And I think, as you said, there's a lot of interesting symbolism. And that's just the Greek symbolism. We haven't even gotten to the fact that he puts like stuff from The Shining everywhere. Everywhere. There's the bathroom they've got like the wallpaper on the bathroom. So it's the same like things happen in the bathroom. Room 237.
True. Yep. Oh,
you know. So 237, something happens in the bathroom in room 237. That's her house address too, is 237.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Wow. Yeah. Great.
It's there's a lot of Shining stuff in there, which of course is about someone who gets, his soul gets trapped in the hotel, much as her soul gets trapped on the ship. But
spoilers.
Oh, are you going to watch The Shining?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. We haven't watched The Shining yet, Ryan.
Okay,
you were spoiled for nothing.
You're
fine. So, all right. Here's the question, though: and this is kind of what I was really pointing at, though. Is yes, that's a really plot-heavy script, a plot-heavy movie, but emotionally, did you guys connect to these characters? Were you invested by what's happening next, or were you invested by I care for these people, what they're doing?
I think so. Yeah, I think it went through phases. To go back to the original question of like, I was invested at the beginning, and then once we got on the boat, I was invested on like, okay, because the boat's from their perspective, the boat is essentially empty, right? They get on, they don't know where anyone is. The boat seems to be self-guided, and they're exploring, looking for someone on the boat to start. And so like, I was into all of that, and then it starts getting a little funky. And like, at first, I thought the funkiness was cool. I think the second loop around started to feel a little bit too stretchy for me. It started to get a little funky. And like, there's some stuff that is cool in the moment, but like kind of falls apart under strange scrutiny of like, for example, she finds a pile of notes that she's written. She finds a pile of keychains on her neck that have fallen off. So it's really driving in that this has happened dozens of times over and over and over, and that this is a trapped loop before she really realizes that it's a loop. You're just finding all these hints of like, there's bad things going on. But I feel like not all of the pieces gel as well as I would like in some parts. I think the one that really stood out to me was there's like a dark Jess version that's like the final murderer. Like she's out. Yeah. She's like
mask Jess.
Well, even beyond mask Jess, because there's like there's a couple ways that they alter it too. There's like one loop where she manages to alter it slightly, where she shoots the one in the head, which was like unique to that loop. But the dark Jess kills the couple in the hotel room rather than in the theater, because there's the one altered loop where like normally in the first loop and I think in the last loop they're killed in the theater, but there's a second loop where she is killed, that she manages to like temporarily save the couple, and then they end up being stabbed to death by a false Jess, dark Jess, nega Jess, whatever you want to call it, in the hotel room. And that Jess specifically is one Jess that is disconnected from the rest of the movie. We never see her in that outfit. We never really get much explanation as to like where she came from, other than we get the motivation that she's like, I have to do this for my son, which it ties into the ending. But we get like, we never actually see that just connect to the rest of the movie in a weird way. There's a couple weirdness. And so I went through this like up and down of like, I was in it and then I had questions and then I was like, well, it's kind of okay. It's kind of recovering. And then I like, we'll get to the ending, but like overall, it was a very cool concept. I felt like had shaky moments for sure.
What about you, Dan? This is your second time watching it. How was it on the second round around?
Like Ryan was saying, I think there's so much going on in it. It's trying to do so much in the area that it does feel like it's almost like it's trying to confuse the viewer to show how cool they are, to figure out like, look at how much we can do in this movie to really like mess with your mind.
It's a little performative.
So, yes, exactly. So like there's those moments, and then like even as I'm hearing you guys talk, like the idea of like, oh yeah, she was in that black outfit, but you didn't really see her again in that. Like there's all these little moments that don't really, kind of like you said, gel. But I think what I caught this time around, rather than just like when I first saw it the first time, I was like, oh, it's cool. I love the reveals. I love that there's like multiple of her and she's taking out all these people, that she's actually the killer. Like, I like the twist is that I liked that this felt more like a purgatory for her. Like, this is her being forced into this situation, like do this over and over and over again, kind of like in a punishment and a guilt for what she ultimately probably did to her son. I don't really even as we talk about it, I don't even fully know if like, did she like, because she was, mean with her son, like, did she die originally in an original car accident and kill her son too? And then this is like the purgatory for her being like a bad mom to him? Or, where are we at with that? But I do like the idea of it being a purgatory. This second time around, I did catch that the taxi driver was very this kind of cosmic, otherworldly sort of being that was just guiding her there. Like
clearly,
he's like, come on into the car. It's like time to go. Like that was
the colors all change when he shows up. Everything gets desaturated and blue.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like it gets very muted and like gray. It's really interesting to do that. And I forgot the one shot that was like really cool, the way that they did it, and where it's like even beyond like how she looks down into that little sewer thing and she sees all the necklaces that drop, the lockets or whatever, is when she comes around the corner and there's just multiple of that other girl, just multiple bodies of her just everywhere. I was like, that's a cool kind of like reveal of like, oh my God, you've killed her this many times and you're still stuck in this thing, is pretty cool. So
that's funny because that scene was both my favorite part of the movie and also for me where it started going off the rails, because that was such a cool moment. And it was so, as you said, it was just gut wrenching. You could turn around and go, oh shit, she's killed this woman a lot of times. But then it's more impactful than seeing all the necklaces because it's bodies, right? You've been here with this woman many times and killed her, or she's died here. But that immediately made me start to think, and this is the problem with any time loop movie, any movie that deals with these kinds of things. At a certain point, it starts to stretch it's first of all, time, like many kind of movement through time, any kind of story where you fuck with time, at a certain point, you just have to be really careful about the story you're telling to not make it contradict itself, or to not to keep all the threads wrapped up, because you're fucking with the nature of reality in a sense. And that was the point where I went, okay, so we've established now that every time there's a loop, you're leaving detritus behind. And it's not just like the necklace or whatever. You're leaving bodies. And that means that it's possible in this time loop for someone to find those bodies before it's time to find those bodies. If this is an infinite loop and it's not doing the same thing every time, as we've established in this movie, it's not the same thing. Why aren't you running into yourself more often? Why aren't people finding these bodies? It begs so many questions, and it opens the movie up to kind of that kind of questioning that then makes us over question other parts. And I don't know if you guys had the same kind of feeling about the movie around that time that I did, where I started to look at the other aspects of the movie and say, oh, okay, so what is this? I started to intellectualize it. I started to come out of feeling the movie and wanting to relate to the characters, which was hard enough to begin with because they didn't give us a whole lot to work with as far as characters. It was douchebag's wife,
knockoff Isla
random
Fisher.
chick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I forgot a Hemsworth was in this movie though. Till I saw the credits, I was like, "Oh, there's a Hemsworth here."
Which
That's
also,
cool.
Out of everyone who dies in the movie, his death is like the most forced death of like. How much force would you have to like? She's like I get it, she's panicked, but she's gonna push this guy up against the wall with enough force to crack through the back of his skull. Like, how hard is she pushing this? And the Hemsworth are not small men.
I was just gonna say, you're not just pushing a person into a wall and having a random like metal spike. What's it that even doing on a ship? Like they're hanging something from?
Well, it looks like it's supposed to be like a peg. Like it's not like it's sharp. Right. It's like just like a circular piece of metal.
You're not just doing that to a human. You're doing that to a Hemsworth.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
and now,
I
granted,
get it if you like knock your head and get a cut, but like a hole.
Yeah, I mean, now granted, this isn't the Chris Hemsworth. This is the Liam. This is the lesser Hemsworth here. That's fine. He's still a Hemsworth. I'm sorry, Liam, but one of you is Thor, another one is picking up the pieces from Henry Cavill on The Witcher. Like, there's two different levels of Hemsworths.
Hemsworth the Great and Hemsworth the Lesser.
But he could still be
the wise.
But either one could bench press me and bend me into a pretzel. So I don't know why I'm talking shit about the Hemsworths. But the point stands that, that was a ridiculous death. And it was kind of silly. And that was another part where the movie started going off the rails for me was, as you say, totally forced death. So you can have someone be mortally wounded and still wandering around the ship. And it seemed more like it was a convenience for the plot than any kind of emotional peak or any kind of better reason. Ryan, yes, please.
I'll also throw in, like, we talk about how there's first off, that specific pier, the little landing where all the women, where the knockoff Isla Fisher dies. That is in the loop where things happen differently, because in both the beginning and end loop, she dies in the theater. And we don't see what happens to her body. And so it's only in this like alternate loop that she ends up on the landing at all. So we're in this weird like cycle of off cycles and cycles. But yet we've proven that there's like remnants on the ship that last.
Yes. Wait, does she? No, she gets dragged from the theater to the landing, to the upper part of the ship. Wasn't that the deal? That's where they find the blood?
I'm pretty sure that she escapes the hotel room, I thought. Or does she get stabbed in the... I thought that she gets stabbed in the hotel room.
See how confused we are about this?
No. I thought for sure, because so she gets in the theater death scenes. The killer shoots from the top, knocks. I don't remember the guy's name. The sailor. Knocks him off. He dies on the floor.
Downey. No, not Downey. No, the good guy. Greg. Greg is the sailor guy. Greg's the good guy. Good guy, Greg.
Poor Greg.
And dumbass Downey.
Recognizes her shoes, gets shot by a shotgun over the back of a balcony. And then he's dying and tells the other two it was Jess. And then Jess comes running in.
Which, by the way, there was no time for him to know it was Jess.
That was one thing I did notice the second time. They said it was you. And I was like, when in his fall did he say that?
Yeah.
I do agree with that. She comes running, the current Jess, I guess. Current Jess comes running in, sees the couple. Killer Jess is up on the balcony with the mask, guns down the boyfriend, and then she tries to save the girlfriend, knockoff Isla Fisher, and knockoff Isla Fisher gets shot in her arms and she bails. And both of the couple are dead in the theater. But in the hotel room death, the boyfriend gets stabbed in the neck. And she goes to stab the girlfriend, but the girlfriend escapes through the door and runs. And then the other Jess catches up to her and she's like, "You stabbed me, you did this," and bails up to the landing. So we know that like the landing is already an alternate outcome. That isn't even like the main outcome that we see. And so we don't even know how many versions there are, but we've proven that there's now detritus on the ship. And yet she has to redo the mirror. Because the mirror...
People are dying in that theater, and yet when they come in, they don't see gigantic pools of blood from all of the Gregs that have died. Right. What's going on with that? And all I got to say about you, Ryan, is after that whole diatribe, all I want to do is go and watch Clue again.
I still haven't
because she killed him in the theater with the rifle, and then we go to the other room and they killed him with the candlestick, and it was Colonel Mustard. Like
Have you seen
the
Clue?
shotgun and the knife.
I love Clue.
I played Clue. I've never watched the movie.
Oh, the movie's so good.
Oh
the movie
no!
is
Okay,
so
stop the show. Stop the show.
good.
Okay, horror movies. We'll set that aside. Go watch Clue.
Clue
Everyone,
is
stop.
So good.
And then
Pause
at the end
this
of our review
episode.
from Triangle, we're now going to pause the episode and review Clue.
Yep. We're going straight into Clue. Tim Curry. Oh my God. Flames on the side of my face. Amazing movie. Which Triangle, I don't know if I can say the same thing about. I think there's a lot of big ideas going on here. I think that there's a lot of symbolism, like someone went into a library and read some things about some Greek myths and then decided to make a horror movie about it with a time loop. But I don't know that there's a lot more meat on the bones than that. And I think that we're starting to kind of pierce through some of this sheen that this movie has of having bigger ideas and having kind of like cool concepts. But, this is kind of the big question I have for you guys before we start going into our end segments here. Is this something where the Emperor has no clothes? Is this a movie where, like, once we really like get granular about it, this movie doesn't have much more than a cool concept and a cool twist and a time loop? What else?
Let me just say that how this show always works is after I talk to you guys, it always changes my mind.
Oh,
no.
I always fall into it, but I had higher, we'll get to the Scullies in a little bit, but I had a higher number set. But after talking about this and seeing all the holes that are in it, and that theater should be full of dead bodies.
It should be.
If they want to do it with that logic. So it's really a lot of cool ideas that they're trying to carry out, and I think that they twist it so much that it's trying to put the wool over your eyes. Like, wow, that was a really cool movie, but as you do dissect it, you're like, there's a lot of things that just don't work. Like, it wouldn't really work.
If there's that, here's the other one. If there's that many bodies, why isn't she written on the mirror that many times?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
The mirror gets reset somehow.
Yeah.
But then also we could throw both. She throws a shotgun that just vanishes, that she hits herself with, and then also
I love that though. That made me laugh so much.
It's
That shot is amazing.
Throw the gun.
Oh, she goes. That's an amazing shot where she just goes blah over the side.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good stuff.
That didn't work. That was you a bit ago. Why would you do it again? But use it as a club or whatever. But also by that same logic, she goes into the room that she finds the masks in, and she uses the ammo bag and gets a bunch of ammo and the guns. That's apparently an endless source of ammunition and guns. That's just a magic armory.
And always only one gun is missing. How does the gun reset?
I don't know. See,
well, and also I'm gonna throw this one out there of so I think it's on the second or third loop. I don't remember which one specifically. That she starts to panic, right? She's like, I'm trapped in this. She sees the boat. She realizes that she can't get off to the sailboat because that won't help her at all. And so she's like, I don't know what to do, and I don't want to kill him. Before she decides resolutely, I have to kill my friends. And she's trying to find out other outcomes. And she goes to the bottom of the boat by herself. And it's
yes, I love this.
I love this. With all the gears and steam things of the boat motors and whatever. And at no point, I'm just looking at this. I'm like, okay, I get. You're trying to mess with the motor stuff, but why didn't you go to the captain's quarters? Why didn't you go to the wheel or something?
Thank you.
Go up to the command center. Why would you go to the bottom?
We never once go to the bridge.
Goes up there. Oh,
they
man.
say multiple times. Greg says a million times, I'm going to the bridge. I'm going to the bridge. I'm going to the bridge. She keeps stopping him and having no, I'm going to go over here. And you never make it to the bridge. She's down there hitting metal wheels and stuff. What is that wheel going to do if you hit it with a pipe? You know what's going to do something? The steering wheel at the front of the ship. That will do something.
Also, they have the weird radio thing where she finds the radio and calls back to herself, but the radio isn't in the bridge. It's this random little radio.
True. Yeah. I did like the radio touch though. I thought that was kind of fun because you get that radio call at the beginning of the movie.
I don't think they do
and you see
anything
where
with
it came from.
No,
it's
cool
just a cool thing. It's a cool thing.
But that's a lot of this movie. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing Oh, it's kind of Bermuda Triangle-ish. Oh, it's kind of, this is cool, but it's not, they don't let it get deeper than a certain point. And there's a lot of stuff on the top that seems cool, but as soon as you drill down into it, it's a lot of icing and no cake.
I have one to throw to you guys that I'm very curious to see what we all think. What is the purpose of Heather?
Oh, the one chick who never makes it on?
The one who just gets sucked into the ocean for no reason? Oh. She's there to establish this, like, will they, won't they romance at the beginning, and then that romance is completely abandoned. And
I'll give you one.
Gets sucked out into the ocean, which, first off, if you're in the middle of the ocean by yourselves, like, I get it. There's storms, people get swept away, whatever. But they go from the storm to essentially still waters, and they're calling out for her, and the water is placid. There's no waves. You can see for miles. And frankly, sound would travel very far. She just vanishes with the light vest.
Ryan,
so she didn't sink.
I will take this movie's side on this. And I won't, because the movie should have done this. They should have implied this somewhere. But I'm going to say this is the implication. Heather's the one who survived.
Survived the boat crash?
She survived the boat crash. Everyone else went to hell, purgatory, whatever. She's back on land. They're all stuck in a time loop.
But then at that point, then that puts the car crash in question. Because if that's the case, then Jess has to be alive when she gets on the boat. Because if Jess dies in the car crash, everyone on the boat is already dead, right? If Jess gets on the boat dead, then everybody has to be in purgatory already.
Right.
But if she gets on the boat alive, then I can agree with you. She could survive. She could get sucked up. Everyone else could sink, and we're in this weird purgatory state.
You could even oh, sorry, Ryan, you finish your point.
No, I mean, that was again, we've got a paradox here with no answer, but go ahead.
I'm saying you could also argue the point that the boat literally is only happening in this purgatory. That's the purgatory. That's this. Everything that happened before was a debt. Like, she got into a car accident, she died. She's then taken to purgatory, and this boat loop is just to punish her over and over again. It never even really happened. It's just in this purgatory world.
But that's the problem, Dan, because if that's the case, then there's a character on there who is irrelevant.
Right.
Well, and I also, if we're saying that the boat is purgatory, then how does purgatory just get back to the house? Unless that's just a tortured vision, which it could be, but there's no implication that's a tortured vision because she murders herself. She physically interacts with the real world. So, like, there's a glaring, like, my problem with Heather is that Heather is essentially just a point. I have problem with pointless characters. We established this last episode too. If a character has no purpose to be there, why are they in the movie? But at least have her body floating there or something. Like, why did you and then also Knockoff? I don't know what to call her other than Knockoff Isla Fisher.
Knockoff Isla Fisher. I love the name. Yeah, go for it.
Isla Fisher.
Sally? Was it Sally?
Maybe. I don't remember. But like,
I think so. I think Sally was who you're talking about. So, Rachel Carpani.
So the redhead. She spends half the movie worrying about where Heather is, and maybe Heather's alive. And it's like, we have no payoff for that. Like you keep it so relevant and do nothing with it.
Conversely, her boyfriend Downey is doing everything he can to be interesting in this movie, from being like doing every kind of douchebag trick in the book. Like, I don't care. These people like walking around with this in his stupid shirt, to like chewing on a banana, talking like Cagney, like, to drop the keys over here, see? And see, I didn't drown, see? Like, he's doing everything in his power to make his character interesting. And then he's just off, and he means nothing. His character's irrelevant. In fact, every character is irrelevant. Their relationships to each other are irrelevant. The only relationship that has any relevance is Jess and her son. And her son in this movie is essentially just a tool. He's a device. We never see him at all, other than like a couple of shots of him, kind of lolling around. That's it. It's him being autistic is a device as well, just to have Jess have a reason to get mad at him and slap him and make her an awful person.
Well, and that's
everything's a device to tell the story about this time loop, and there's nothing in there that actually has any kind of genuine human weight to it.
I think also you hit on it, is we lose support and empathy for the only character we have any sort of information on. Because Jess is really like, and I do think Greg to a degree, or in the early parts of the movie, we get a little bit of Greg, but then Greg's also the first one to die. So
he's also, he's discarded like a fucking sweat sock with a hole in it. He is just, and he's done, and he's gone, and there's no more evolution to their characters at all.
And so the thing is, like, we're rooting for Jess for most of the movie. And then we get to this reveal. Well, we're trying to, right? We're like, trying
to, like, yeah.
They're setting her up as the final girl originally. They're like, she's going to be the survivor. You always want the person to survive. You want the person to win. You want the killer to lose. You want to salvage humanity. But then you take this character that we've been semi-rooting for, and then we've also got this weirdness of like, is she the killer? Like, what's going on? And then we like condemn her. We literally take the only character we have any sort of gravity to, and we remove any redeeming qualities because we're like, oh, she's a bad person. Like, because I get it. Like,
no. You're spot on. And I want to say that Melissa George, the actress, it's not her fault that this character is what it is. Melissa George is a good actress. I once saw 30 Days of Night the other day. She's great in that too.
Oh, so good.
But here's the thing. You're spot on when you say what we find out is she is an irredeemably bad person. Like, she smacks her kid because she's just tired and having a bad day or whatever. And then she beats her kid and tries to make it all okay. And we are then supposed to somehow empathize with her because she feels bad about it and is trying to rectify it in this kind of purgatorial time loop. And that's just not good enough.
Well, I want to jump on that too. I think I think what they're trying to go for is, because they imply that she's just strung out, right? That she's like exhausted and whatever. And like, they try and make it seem like, oh, this isn't necessarily a normal thing that she does. And that like, this is an exception. They kind of seem to try and imply like this is not the normal way she treats her son. But the problem is, because we don't see any other evidence otherwise, it's hard not to feel like, oh, does she just treat her son like this all the time?
No. There's no such thing as an exception when it comes to certain levels of violence.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no exceptions. Like, you don't get a day off. You don't get like a freebie because you're fried one day and you can all of a sudden smack the teeth out of your kid's mouth.
That's
not how it works. Like, you don't get a freebie.
They go too far with it. It's like, I think that they're trying to set it up as like, oh, like, she, like, these circumstances conspired and she broke down and she made a mistake.
Right.
But the problem is that they make the mistake so drastic that's like, that's not a mistake. And now we feel like this is normal, even if it's not, because we don't see any other interaction at all. Even the scenes that we see at the beginning are essentially that scene from a different angle with some pieces left out. We don't see any normal interaction, and we see like the one thing where she's trying to comfort him after he's crying, but that's also guilt driven, which we find out later. So like, we don't see any normal ground level, and the only thing that we see is the transgression, and the transgression is such a degree of seriousness that it makes it really hard to defend her in any way, because you're like, this is not a okay or normal thing to do, regardless of circumstance. And now this is all we think of you. This is what you've become as a character.
And I could not think of a better way. We've never done this on this show, but this is, I think, the first time where we have a reverse F that guy award, where we've explained why we're giving someone a fuck that guy award before we've even said who it is.
I don't really think there's not really anyone else in the movie to do. Everyone else kind of sucks, but they're not like smacking autistic children sucks.
She's the Mike Logan. No one else has a character that's even slightly defined as much. Dan, can you think of anyone else in the movie who deserves Mike Logan award more than Jess?
No, because everybody, I mean, like you said, you got the douchebag people, like guys and stuff, and like the strung out girls that are like the freaked out girls, but nobody's ever being like so upset or mean to somebody like, oh, I really don't like that character. It is finally Jess at the end when it's revealed of what she's done to her son and how she is, and I completely agree with that. I didn't even think of it going into this episode, but like you hit the nail on the head. Like it is her. She earns the award.
Well, she's out fully.
But and then the problem is that she's the only character that we really have any depth to. Everyone else is very like they're dude bro-y or like beach person-y or whatever, but like they all are set pieces to Jess, and then we turn Jess into a monster. And then it's like, okay, now we've got essentially a monster movie in a time loop of this like person who's just a horrendous person doing horrible things forever? Question mark. And then the movie kind of just ends.
Yeah.
That's I couldn't think of a better way to put it. This is a monster movie where we realize we've been watching a monster the entire movie, and then we're left saying, what did I just spend the last hour and a half doing? Which brings us to the time in the show where we got to rate this movie. It's Scully time. We're going to rate
Scully's
Triangle
Dan,
from 2009.
So Dan was like, I'm so excited to talk about this movie. And we're like, this movie.
No, I mean, that's how it goes. Like, I usually go into it getting excited about something, but again, like, you know, I will admit that I'm that like mainstream horror person that gets caught up in the storyline, and this is one of those movies that, you know, it throws a lot of really cool ideas at you, so much so that you can get caught up in that. You're like, wow, that was really cool. Look how there's a bunch of dead bodies over here. Look how that's her in the sack. Look how look how she's back home. Oh, that was her knocking at the door. It's all these cool things. But, you know, when you sit here and talk for an hour about it, you're like, oh, wow, like none of this can really work. None of this really makes sense. There is an irredeemable character that we don't really care about. All the other characters don't really even make sense. So
somebody's cleaning the Hemsworth peg. It's clean every time.
Every time.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of holes in this. So, yeah.
May not be the first time there's been a Hemsworth peg in the world, but it's the only one we know about.
Knock it down.
Well, ask Miley Cyrus. She might know all about the Liam Hemsworth peg. But that before we get ourselves in any more trouble, speaking of Hemsworths getting pegged and stupid ways of dying, that is the name of the show. This is why you died. And of course, it's come to that time of the show where
Hemsworth getting pegged.
Not
for anyone wondering.
That's
not the name of the show.
The name of the show is not Pegging Hemsworth. It is This Is Why You Died. And that is time for us to choose to look at everyone in this movie, pick a dumb way that someone died, much like getting pegged in the back of the head by a random ship spur, and decide why that person died in a dumb way in the movie. So let's see. Dan, it was your movie, so I'm going to throw it over to you. Why did someone die in Triangle?
Oh man, you keep you said a great one right there, so I'm not going to take that one. We're not going to take the Hemsworth because we keep discussing. That's pretty easy. Like
that's a gimme.
Pegging Hemsworth sounds like a John Green novel to me. Have you read Pegging Hemsworth? God.
It sounds like something you see in the section of the library that the kids can't go into is what it sounds like to me.
Oh my God.
Behind the curtain, in the back.
Yeah.
The restricted section.
You go in there, there's a bunch of like librarians back there smoking cigarettes. Oh yeah. This is good shit. This is the good shit, kids. Dan, why did someone die in this movie?
You know what? Having kids, you can't take your eyes off the road for too long, or you're gonna. You can't keep looking in the back seat for that long when you're driving. So I think she was just.
That's the second time you've done that as a "This Is Why You Died." Is it? You did it because you did it in Empty Man, I think too. Didn't you? Of
yes,
messing with his son in the back.
Don't
like, you got a thing. It's a parent thing.
You just got to yell at him. Be like, "Shut up! I'm driving. I can't take my eyes off the road."
I'll give you the back of me hand, kids.
Well, I mean, she already was doing that to her kid, so I don't want to say that.
I'm just saying.
But
apparently didn't work.
If you're driving, just look back quickly, but don't just like she just forgot she was driving. She just was looking back at the back seat, so that's why she died.
She was like thinking, I'm on a green screen. I'll be fine. No problem.
I guess there's a number of ways that you could choose the way that she died, because she died a lot, but
she did. I have to say, she did. Yeah, that's true. You could say this is why you died for her multiple times.
Right.
Really?
Well, honestly, any of them other than I think Hemsworth Everyone dies in more than one way, except Hemsworth and Heather. The H's get off with one death.
Greg?
Yeah,
Greg just gets shot. Oh, I guess he gets shot multiple times, but it's always the same kind of
True,
place.
that's true. Greg does repeat.
Yeah, he always.
So I guess
that was
just
our
the
big.
couple
That was our beef. He gets blown away in the same way, but he only bleeds there once for some reason.
Yeah.
Who knows? Ryan, do you have one? Do you have a reason why someone died in this movie?
I'm gonna go with both I'm gonna go with the couple together because in one version they die together. In the theater, the couple we see a shot, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, we see a shot of the couple in the theater sitting down waiting for Greg. And Greg is up on the balcony, and then Greg gets blown away and falls on the balcony. And rather than going, oh my God, we just heard a gunshot and our friend has fallen to the ground and is dying, instead of going, oh my God, we should grab him and go, they go, oh my God, Greg, are you okay? And sit in the middle of the theater right next to where a gun was shot.
Yeah.
And then they both get, shocker, shot to death. So maybe move it or lose it.
Somebody shot Greg. Greg, let's help you out here. How are we doing, Greg? Are we doing okay?
Oh my
who
God.
could have possibly shot him from high up above?
Are.
What are you doing up there,
Like,
Malcolm
move
McDowell?
it.
In that clock tower.
It's very prescient right now in the country. If there's an active shooter, move your butt. Get out of there. Seek shelter. Seek help. Don't stay in the same spot in the open.
Oh,
I mean, you kind of took mine because my thing was, why would you follow the instructions of a mirror with blood written on it? Go to the theater. It says on the bloody mirror. Well, gosh, guess we'll go to the theater. What is this, a video game? Is this like, is this Resident Evil? They look at the mirror and it says, go to the theater. You go, I guess I'm going to go to the theater and get the green herb so I can open the weird, the block puzzle over in the corner. What is, so Ryan, you took them. So I'm actually going to go with, what's her name? The chick that vanished and she never came back. Heather, I guess it was. Yeah. The one, the useless character who just vanishes for no reason. Why did she die? Well, I don't think she did die. I remember my conspiracy theory is she lived. She did it. This is why you lived. This is why you escaped the stupid movie, because Heather knows how to swim. So when she got sucked out of the boat, she just, did the breaststroke back to the Gold Coast, and she was fine.
Miles and miles and miles and miles.
It's happened before. I mean, the only downside would be, it is Australia, so the shark-infested waters, jellyfish, stingrays, all the other things that could possibly kill you in the water.
Waves, storms,
currents, waves,
sun. What's the sun dehydration?
But at least she doesn't end up on the stupid Sisyphus boat. That's what matters.
True.
So she escapes. Also, the good
can we talk
ship
about
Areola.
You were like the go to the theater. Can we talk about how blunt those instructions are? It's like go to theater. It's like that's a weird thing to write in blood. Like it's not like they don't make it cryptic. It's not like a clue. No. It's not like be warned. It's like, by the way.
Go to theater.
It's like a sticky note practically.
And she doesn't recognize her own handwriting. On the anyway, that's the number. The plot holes.
You guys keep poking so many holes in this movie.
To be fair, there, I don't think anyone recognizes their handwriting when it's done with a finger paint style. I don't think that's generally something that people would recognize of themselves.
You're saying you wouldn't recognize your own handwriting in blood on a mirror? That's fair
Probably
point.
not.
All
Believe it or not something that I've encountered often in my life. So
thank goodness. I thought you were gonna have another Boy Scout story.
Yeah, great. Thanks, guys.
Well, speaking of plot holes in this movie,
for legal reasons, that's not true.
Yes, for legal reasons only, that's not true. All right, speaking of plot holes in this movie, we've got to give it the Scullies. It's time for the Scully Awards. We've got to rate this movie. We have to rate Triangle from 2009. Ryan, how many Hemsworth pegs do you give to Triangle?
So I'm gonna go with 7.5. And the thing is, like, I think the concepts are cool, and I'm also a Greek mythology guy, so like I love the Sisyphus reference. I thought the boat was cool. I thought the Bermuda Triangle thing was cool. There's also glaring holes in the movie. Heather upset me. I was like, why? Where did she go? She's just gone, and she never comes back. And
yeah, you're the plot twist guy. You're the plot hole nitpicker. This movie must have made you go insane.
Oh man. Well, that's the thing. It's like I kept wanting to like it. I was like, oh, there's like these cool moments and there's these cool concepts, and then like stuff would happen that like I'll paint a scene of like in Killer Jess in Mask is chasing current Jess down the hallway, and she hides behind the kitchen table thing, and we get like a Jurassic Park shot where basically she's hiding behind the metal counter, and the killer Jess comes up to the door. You were that Jess. You know where that Jess is. You hid there. Why do you pause and look away long enough for current Jess to escape? You have a loaded gun and you know where you hid. You could just come up, peek over the counter and be like, see ya, bitch. Like, gone. Like, end of time loop question mark? Like, the only... Because Killer Jess never kills Current Jess. Current Jess always kills Killer Jess. We see Killer Jess go off the side. True. What happens if you kill Current Jess? Is that the end? We don't know. Yeah. And like, there's cool stuff about that. That's like cool questions and like logic paths to follow. But then you also run into all these really annoying barriers of like, okay, so there's like 100 necklaces. And like, cool. Like, why are there 100 necklaces, but there's only one pair of keys?
Right, the one pair of keys that fall. Yeah,
just the one.
Yeah, I caught that the second time. Yeah,
but so, Ryan, it's hell. You know, it's just how hell works.
Is it? Because you're pretty lonely, and there's no. You never check this captain of the boat.
Yeah, it's the. I don't know if it's hell. It's the good ship Areola. I don't know what it actually is. It's the Bermuda Triangle. But anyway, sorry. Yes, go ahead. How many skulls? The nipple ship. How many?
He said 7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
I'm sticking with
7.5 from Ryan.
For the
Ross,
nipple ship
live, and
I'll the kid smacker.
The Jess the kid smacker. I will go next. Dan, I
think I've been on that cruise.
Yeah, I think you're going lower.
I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna go lower than that. Actually, I was trying so hard to like this movie. It was intriguing for quite a bit, but there were so many things that were just they just ended up being like all being a one on top of the other that just made me nuts. Whether it was some of the secondary characters acting, whether it was some of the script for the secondary characters, the lack of characters in general, as we've been talking about the fact that there's very thin aside from Jess as far as characterizations. There's no real payoff to any of these characters. There's no real payoff to anything in this movie, and the payoff that we do get is unsatisfying in the sense that we're like, why have we just spent an hour and a half watching a irredeemable person be stuck trying to redeem themselves? But that can work if done in an intelligent and engaging way. And I don't think this was either, other than on a very surface level. Very intriguing concept, some really nice ideas and symbology. And I can tell that this is a guy who knows what he's doing, but I still don't understand why he had to make everything on the ship so blown out. My eyes were hurting because the cinematography in this movie. And to be honest, I think if I had to sum it up at the end of all this, we've I think gone into everything that that I want to say kind of against this movie. Like we've covered it all. You know where I'm standing on it. But if there's one more thing I could say to sum it all up, it would be that as I watched this movie, I wondered where it was going, but I never really cared where it was going. And it didn't do enough to make me care, and there wasn't enough. And that was specifically a problem with so many aspects of the filmmaking, whether it was the writing, the directing, the acting, everything. I just did not get engaged this movie. And I think that that's a very personal take on it, but I can go back and codify from a technical standpoint why that was. And I think that this movie could have been so much better, but to me, it just barely held up. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. It's going to get a 6.5 stars from me. 6.5 Scullies.
Honestly, it's interesting you say that, because I feel like in contrast, I did care where the movie was going and I wanted to see, and I just felt like it never arrived. Is kind of the difference between mine and yours.
And that's fair enough. Lord knows we've had enough of my old movies on this show, like The Beyond and Hellraiser and whatnot, where it hasn't clicked with you guys, and just sometimes that's how it works. A movie just doesn't tell a story that you want to watch. Dan, Marcha Madness, it's your movie. How many skulls do you give to Triangle after watching it again and discussing it with a couple of haters?
Like you said, I mean, like I said earlier, it was going to be higher.
What were you going to come in with?
Well, no, I was going to come in with, I was thinking about 7.
Okay.
But then I realized that I gave like Wicker Man 7 last time, and I was like, I can't rate it the same as Wicker Man, which like Wicker Man, is so influential and like did so much. But so I'm gonna match Ian. I'm gonna go 6.5. And honestly, like after watching it the second time, it was probably even be higher than the 7. Like immediately following, I was like, wow, that was really cool again. But thinking about it, it was again wool over my eyes. It's just like is a lot of really cool concepts. I think that there's some positives about it. I mean, like there is a lot. I like how they're trying to do these twists. I mean, it was shot in an interesting way. Like you said, it was like overblown, probably because I don't know if they were actually really on that big giant boat. Maybe they had a lot of like green screen. They had to just like throw some white, sky to help hide stuff. But yeah, overall, I just, I'm going to go 6.5 lower because, you guys exposed all the holes and just didn't. Now it's not as cool as it was. So that's
shot. By the way, Dan, to answer your question, shot in Queensland, Australia, trying to be Florida, which. Yeah. So I also want to say before we close out too that I was down to 2 different movies, and I mentioned this last episode that there's another one that's called Time Crimes, which is actually a Spanish film. And the reason why I even watched Triangle was that in Time Crimes, if you go look up the cover, the main guy has a sack over the head, very much like in this movie. And I'm like, oh, did they remake this movie because it's also a time loop movie, and there's a guy with a sack, and like this other guy's trying to find out who this killer with the sack over his head is. Actually, it's bandages. But having said that, I wish we watched a little bit more Time Crimes, because Time Crimes is not as action packed, but it is smarter. And I think it's more intellectual in the way that it does connect everything, and everything gels a little bit better. It's just not as action-packed and bloody as this one was. So I leaned more towards this because I thought it'd be a little bit more like exciting to watch. But this one is action-packed, but you have to care about the action when the action's happening.
I will give one redeeming thing to this movie, since we've given it a lot of shit. On the first loop, I was like, how in the world is this killer this bad at getting this like essentially like 20-year-old girl that's managing to resist him so hard in all this combat? And then later when it was revealed, that's like, oh, it's because it's also the 20-year-old girl. Okay, cool. I was like, that one actually felt kind of good, of like, especially when like she hesitates to shoot and they do like the dodge shoot thing. I'm like, when did she become an action star, and why is this guy so bad at his job? And that's like, oh, it's because it's also her. Okay, cool.
And what's sad is like, that's the point where I figured out, I'm like, okay, this is probably her. She turns into the killer. All right, fine, great. Why and how does she do that? This movie's going to have a lot of baggage to try to explain how she becomes this killer. And it was a lot of baggage. A lot of baggage for Triangle.
If we had done Time Crimes, though, I still stand by my statement before of like, it sounds like a spoof movie that you would get in like either a TV show or like another movie that's like spoofing actors and actresses, of like Kristen Bell in Time Crimes.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, from Time Crimes.
Yeah, it's a Spanish film in Spanish, so I think it's like the translation's probably just super basic the way that they did it. Yeah, so
still, I'm glad you picked this one because it was good discussion, and it is an interesting movie for those who haven't seen it. Like, it's worth checking out for the concept, for how they execute it. It's got some good stuff in it. Like, we're not blowing it out of the water like Cannibal Frogs or Willow Creek. So
it's better than both of those, for sure.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
For sure.
But that being said, it's Dan. Now you are out of a prompt.
I'm out of a prompt.
Get your bucket of the beast.
I also have a big reveal. I have a new bucket.
Oh,
are you ready?
A new bucket.
This is movie related. This is time travel related.
What? Oh, it was hiding there the whole time. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's nothing to do with horror, but it's amazing.
He's holding a DeLorean. You have a DeLorean.
And hold on, let me turn it on. There.
Oh my God. It has
lights. It's got lights.
Where's the bucket?
That's actually okay.
Watch.
once it lights up, it does look pretty cool.
Ready?
And now he's going to
Here we
open
go.
the door. The door
Opening
pops,
the door, and here
pops up.
Oh, it's got a
Window.
drawer.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Yeah, it's got the doors.
Wait a minute.
So the doors go up.
666 prompts fit in that DeLorean.
Oh yeah, they're in there.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think Dan and I both cut them pretty small. I don't know how big yours are, but mine are drowning in my bucket.
These are tiny.
But actually, that makes me feel good because I have always felt that not having the horror bucket, and I've actually been considering getting a new bucket as well, and I might be able to replace Dan and have the balance remain 2 horror buckets. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, but I couldn't pass this up. I mean, 40th anniversary popcorn bucket from AMC is pretty cool. Damn it, I agree. That is that's really cool.
You
can't really fit too much popcorn in here though.
But that's like
a popcorn get you 2 trailers bucket. And then you're done. Yeah.
The DeLoreans were never known for their trunk space. But that being said, it is not a horror prop, Dan.
It's not. Okay. Maybe I'll change it later, but I really like it. I mean, it's cool.
I've been doing an Avengers bucket. We can swap. You can have the non-horror bucket. I'll go pick up. I've got a plan for a horror bucket.
Okay, I'll find something else. I'll find something else.
Yeah, you can go get
something else. But I really like this, so I'm making my choice.
Do it.
Okay, well, while you're making your choice, Ryan, we're going to announce yours in a second. I'm sitting on the prompt Spirit, not for which will be announced next episode, and Ryan's going to announce what he has for. What's your prompt, Ryan? First?
My prompt is first.
Ooh, we're going to find out what that is in a second. But Dan, you look like you've drawn something out of the DeLorean.
I mean, one movie immediately came to mind.
What you got?
But I'm going to have to think about it. You can't see it here, but I got car.
Oh, car. He drew it from the DeLorean.
Drew a car from car.
He gets a car, and he draws car. And he draws car. Well, yeah, one movie definitely comes to mind with that one.
Immediately came to mind, but I might go the Daniel route where I'm just like, this person was in a car this scene, so this is the movie.
I'm gonna weigh in. I mean, I'm gonna give my 2 cents and say we've already done 2 Carpenters pretty early on into our show here, and I think if we knock out 3 Carpenters this early, we're gonna be. I know
that's why I'm
heavily weighing.
I'll probably think about some other car movies.
We're gonna watch The Empty Man again because of the car crash on the bridge.
Hey, there's some cool car. Wait.
Car crash. I know. Dan,
we've watched like 5 car crashes already. There's so many car crashes.
There's a lot of options now.
Dan, did you just think about Final Destination 2?
No. Oh my god.
I thought that was what you were going for the first time. When you guys were like, that one immediately comes to mind. I was like, Final Destination.
Oh, no. I was thinking it. Well, I'm not going to choose this one because, like you said, I think Ian's got a good point. We've already done 2 Carpenters, but I immediately thought Christine, which is about a car that comes to life, and so
named Christine.
Oh my god,
named Christine. He named the car
based
Christine.
off of Stephen King. Your mom should know about this.
Yeah, ask your mom. Ask your mom.
She probably.
I'm not my mom, so I don't share her knowledge. But I'll ask
her. Talk to her about Christine.
Well, go get her knowledge and ask her about Christine. But yeah, what was so? I thought Final Destination. Ryan thought Final Destination. What was the other car crash you thought about, Dan?
No, I wasn't even thinking about a car crash. I was thinking about a crazy fight sequence that goes on in a car in a
Wolverine,
really great horror movie. So I might be
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Of course, car fight scene. He gets absolutely mutilated to bits multiple times throughout. That's very horrific. It's got a lot of body horror in it.
We may go into some Korean horror soon, is what I'm saying. So we'll see.
Now I'm in. Oh my God, I'm 100% in with you. I like that. We haven't done that yet on the show. That's very exciting. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is something to look forward to. But also to look forward to is what Ryan is about to tell us is coming up on the next episode of This Is Why You Died. Ryan, take it away,
gentlemen.
Yes.
I have some news for you guys. So we are going into episode 9 of season 2. And for those of you who have been listening, we wanted a bunch of new stuff for season 2, including some bits, some things that we haven't been utilizing. We haven't been utilizing some of our challenges. So you know what I'm going to do? Although I think that there's a way that I could have made this work, I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to slash my prompt. I'm going to use my prompts to slash first, and instead I'm going to force a movie today. Because there's an earlier movie from 2025 that I think is an incredible movie that we have not discussed. And the minute I saw it, I knew I wanted to discuss it on the show. And I do believe that all three of us have seen it this year.
Thank God. I know what you're choosing.
Following Frankenstein and our rave reviews of that, I think that we can't leave 2025 without watching Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
Wow.
You made me so happy, Ryan. Oh,
wow.
So happy.
And I could have made first work, but we've got all of these bits we haven't used, guys. We're 9 episodes into season 2. I'm going to slash my props.
We were going along so smoothly, and Ryan had to upset it and throw Sinners into the mix. It's funny because you've been saying that for a while. That why don't we do Sinners? And here we are, and you're making it happen. Well, that's
incredible. And I'm a big vampire guy. That's not something we've covered on the show yet. I am a big vampire guy.
Doesn't like horror that much, or didn't.
Well, to be fair, vampires kind of cross horror and fantasy a little bit.
Very true.
There's a lot of crossover in spiders, werewolves, vampires, mummies, liches, curses. There's a realm of crossover with fantasy and horror.
Can we just name universal like horror? Like you named all the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
I was going to say they haven't made a Lich movie yet, and then the second that Universal wants to make a movie about a Lich, I'm 100% there.
It'd be cool.
That is ground we have not covered yet. But okay, we are going to be doing Sinners next episode. That's a big announcement. Ryan slashing his prompt and forcing Sinners. That's going to be a big one next episode because we've all had enough time to digest that movie. I'm so down to watch it again because it's a lot to take in. There's a lot in that movie. There's so many details. We're going to have a great time dissecting Sinners, especially because I think that we're going to be watching it just before it gets nominated for all the Oscars. But yes, Ryan.
And that puts first back into the pool for us. So that means that we will be able to potentially get first back. Somebody else may be able to get first. Or I might get stuck with it again. But at least for now, I'm slashing my prompt.
All right. Well, fair enough. And Sinners is on the docket for next week. Everybody, thank you so much for checking our show out. As always, Dan, tell them where they can find our stuff.
Beacons.ai/TIWYD pod. So we can get everything, all of our links. Watch us on YouTube, buy us some cool merch, and check us and support us out on Patreon.
Yes, please do that. And of course, if you are on Patreon, you can always check out becoming a dedicated benefactor. Ryan, shout out our dedicated benefactor, our first one.
CG, thank you so much.
Oh,
we appreciate you, CG.
CG, thank you very much. CG. Thank you, CG. CG, producer on the show now, I guess. But
dedicated benefactor.
And all of our patrons, man, we're just getting started. This whole show is just getting rolling. We're only a year or so in. So, guys, thank you for being on the ground floor for us. We really appreciate it. We need all the help we can getting this ball rolling. We just hit our first massive viral social media clip just happened this week. My goodness. Thank you, Frankenstein. Yes. Thank you, Dan, for putting that together. Thank you, Ryan. My goodness, that was nuts. But with that, we're all done. We did Triangle from 2009 today. Go check it out. Despite what we said about it, it is actually a very watchable movie.
It's not a bad movie. We all
not bad.
It, like it was
above a 5. It was above 5. It was above an average, but it is what it is. Everybody, thank you so much for checking us out. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you checking out our show. We will see you next time. I'm Sir Ian Dangerous. That's Dan Marcha Madness. That's Ryan Ross Live. We have been...
This is why you die.